Welcome back to another review here with one of our Pro Feedback pros, Hans. Hans has been with me through Sync Academy and various platforms that I've had for many years, actually. So Hans, he's kind of one of the original gangsters who's been with us for a long time. You guys have probably seen him in many of our review videos, and if you're in Sync Academy or Pro Feedback, you've definitely been seeing a lot of great content from him. He does these awesome live Zoom sessions with everybody in Sync Academy, and he's been putting out really amazing, just helpful videos on his own about his struggles in sync licensing and some things that can help all of you guys get through it. So Hans is an amazing resource. I'm very grateful that he's with us on these platforms, and I think for the members that have gotten feedback from him, they're very grateful for him as well. He's an amazing composer. He's done a lot of work in this business, and he's a very, very productive guy. So he's somebody you definitely want to have on your team. What we're going to do today is go over a track from one of our Pro Feedback members, Dave Lowe. This is a track called Circle Back. It's a funk track. So we're going to listen to it all the way through, and then I'll sort of pass it off to Hans. He can get us started with some things that he likes about the track, maybe some things that can be improved upon. And if there's something that I can feel I can add, I will add that at the very end. But let's go ahead and get a start on this one. And this is Dave Lowe's track, Circle Back. Here we go. Very cool. So that's a track from Dave Lowe. A lot of good things about this track, actually. I really like the clean, upbeat, fun energy that you have here. I definitely see this as a licensable play, a licensable direction for sure to go in, Dave. So you're going in the right direction with this track. I do hear quite a few things I think that can be improved upon it, but let's go ahead and start with Hans. Maybe Hans, you can talk about some of the things you like about it first, and then dive into those things that might be able to be improved upon.
All right. Thanks for having me, Jesse. David, great track. I really like, I like certainly the upbeat mood, and I like the overall feel. And I do like the form, actually. It seems overall like you have a good, between busy parts, and then you get you ease out a little bit, and at the end you go up. That's all good. What I also like the like your delay in the beginning, kind of how you start. The intro is really interesting. I liked that a lot. There's only a couple of places there where you have to look for your groove. Sometimes the delay gets out of. I don't know if you played it with the guitar, and you were just, if you're just a little off, the delay gets off too. That was one thing that I heard. In terms of it's always tricky when you do organic instruments, like horns, um, and you do that MIDI. That is for me always a part that is tricky. That's where you kind of need the big boy guns, or like the VSTs that really deliver like the horn sections in a way that they are believable. So that would be certainly something I would look into if you would like to work more with that kind of direction. I feel the track is kind of in the middle. I mean, it started actually kind of more modern, and then you became more retro, and then it had moments where I could see more modern things again. So it's not the verdict is not quite up yet. What it is, I think it leans more towards retro due to the sounds. Especially the drums, kind of they sound kind of for modern funk. They sound too retro. Um, let's say the percussion, when you come in that percussion part, um, think about percussion players as the wild ones in usually in the set. They bring kind of the life to the party. And I find when your conga player starts playing, it is too predictable. You kind of have a machine there playing. So I would look for parts where you can have a little roll on the congas, or just have them pop out here and there, so that we can see this is alive, right? Especially with that style, with funk music, you kind of connect that to all the great bands in the 70s, and then going on, and it was always a lot of fun live. So you wanna capture as much of that energy as you can. And I think overall, in terms of the composition, you did. I like what you did there. And certainly, I agree with Jesse. This is the right direction to be licensable. You have a nice break there, right in the middle. After usually we look always for an edit point at some point, and it's right in that middle, in the 1 minute section there. Um, at the end, you have kind of like that's the one part that was a little sticking out for me, was kind of like a high. I thought it's a kind of a high Rhodes, or kind of a keyboard there, that sounded too toyish for me. There was just a difference between what went on underneath, and then this high line up, that felt, yeah, it was just not really cohesive at this part. Um, yeah, that's kind of these are kind of the main points that I would have. So have a look into what where you can get horn sounds that are really punching through, and that sound more realistic than what you have right now. That would be kind of my next step. I think the guitar sounds good. It plays mostly the right things. In the beginning, I think it was the guitar actually that did, the muted guitar thing, that is a little off in rhythm, and every once in a while through the song there's a rhythmic kind of this little thing between the delay and the rhythm, and you want to smooth that out. All right, Jesse, do you have anything else that you noticed there?
Yeah, well, this is what's so cool about pro feedback is like most of the stuff that Hans pointed out for you. I don't know if I would have even given a lot of those notes. I do now after hearing him. I'm like, actually, yes, I agree. Yes, I agree. Yes, I agree. But all of our different ears really focus on different things and can point out different things for you guys. And that's what's really cool about pro feedback is you get to choose between various pros, and you can actually send the same track to multiple pros and kind of get everybody's take on your track. So you'll get different types of notes. Sometimes you'll probably get similar notes if there are some glaring issues. But a lot of pretty much everything you said, now as I hear you say it, I'm like, yep, that makes sense. That would make it better. My impression of the track was I would not put this in a funk category. This to me was really a 90s pop track. And I think it's licensable, but you need to make sure that you're clear on that. You know that this is a 90, because your drums for sure, that kind of swing pattern, that kind of really quick swung kick pattern that you have in that track, that is 90s all day long. Those drums are 90s all day long. And the chord progressions, all of this basically to me sings like, it's like Ace of Base kind of thing. It's got this 90s feel to it, which is cool. And there definitely are some opportunities. And I actually see, especially in your last course here, this has commercials and ads all over it. It's fun. It's like shopping. It's just got a lot of that energy that I think could really do well for ads and commercial campaigns, all that kind of stuff. But just make sure you're sending it to a library that has a use for the sort of retro 90s, pop throwback. A couple of small things. I did like your breakdown here in the middle, how you kind of took away stuff, kind of brought it back in. You had some kicks that were kind of randomly thrown in. I think those kicks should probably just be left out. Like, just really let this be a mellow percussion-led breakdown, then build us back up into the chorus. I think that would have been a better choice. You had this kind of off beat snare that came in on the last chorus, probably in the first couple of measures. It was like this. It was like this offbeat snare, but it was a different snare sample, and it was really loud and really kind of abrasive. So I would definitely, if you're going to use that one, probably use a different sample. I think that one was too heavy. It was like almost like a dubstep snare that had this really heavy low end intensity. You probably just want to use something a little more pingy, a little bit more high end if you want a little bit of an extra snare hit here and there, and definitely lower it down because it was just too dominant. And I felt overall, basically from the breakdown to this last chorus, that probably could have been cut in half. I felt like this was a really long kind of breakdown and build up for this track. I think I was starting to lose a little bit of the interest there. I think the first half of the track was great. You built it perfectly. I like how you did that. And then this last chorus really felt like it was very, very long. I was kind of not feeling like we were moving in too many new directions with it. I felt like it was sort of a copy paste job. Looks like he did it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know, maybe it's 5 or 6 times. And it just wasn't moving forward enough for me. So I think either we need to shorten that last chorus up, or we need to maybe think about adding a new lead element, as Hans was saying, maybe something a little bit less kind of like, toyish or cartoonish sounding on the top. Trying something else might be a good idea. And of course, I don't think I heard a definite hit ending at the end. You had a kind of a cool fill, but then went and then there was nothing, boom, hitting us sort of on the one. So a real simple fix, like, having a kick, a crash, a root chord, a root note, a bass hit, something like that, that just gives us that final punch. Or even better, probably some horns would be a nice boom, and they kind of go down a little bit. So that's just always one of those things you got to include in your tracks, especially for music libraries. So this is what you guys are getting essentially in Pro Feedback, is you're getting multiple perspectives on the same track, but hopefully between everybody's opinions, you guys are able to take this stuff and move forward with your cues. So please leave a like on this video if you guys enjoyed this feedback. If you like these kinds of videos, I like to know if you guys want to see more, obviously. And of course, if you want to get feedback like this, you do need to be in our Pro Feedback platform, and that's how you can get to work with somebody like Hans or myself, actually, through our monthly live reviews or through reviews like this. So you can check out all the details in the description box below of this video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you, Hans, for your time today, bud.
Thanks, Jesse.